Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Well, I did start to make notes on this match, as I do with most Bournemouth games. However, I gave up on 24 minutes, like the team did. Absolutely dreadful. Reading 3, Bournemouth 1 tonight. Not even sure whether it should come as a surprise, really. We've been poor since Stoke. And even then, we weren't brilliant. Tonight, we're going to chat about what we've witnessed. Be warned, if you're not all that great with swear words, this may not be the place for you tonight. I'm not going to encourage it, but I can certainly understand it if anyone does. It might be a tough one tonight, but look, we're not going to criticise each other like Team Acne do on Twitter. We'll concentrate on the game, our players, our tactics, and our manager. They're the ones that actually deserve the attention. JT, he's under pressure tonight. Just like Eddie was when we got relegated from the Premier League with arguably a better set of players. At the time, Howe couldn't raise them. JT can't raise them now. Is the problem the manager? Maybe. Is the problem the players? Definitely. It's a shame that it seems they've decided to sack off the season, because we're in a position in the league where collectively they could all benefit from a bit of togetherness by playing well. As in a few months, they could get promotion, they could buy another nice car, a new 70 grand watch, and buy another buy-to-rent property. It's just a shame that their aim to achieve better things at the moment seems to be individually. They seem to be almost planning for their own future, as opposed to being what a footballer is and achieving success in a team with the 10 players that are around you. Feels like they're looking out for themselves, and saw a bunch of individuals tonight and not enough fight. In the second half, we saw a little bit, but I'm getting sick of it now. We took a battering on national TV. First time we've lost televised in over 10 years on a Friday night, by the way. Does it feel like a crisis? Am I overreacting? Maybe, but the raw opinion, I mean, I feel justified in feeling pretty angry. If we were there, of course, we'd be showing them exactly how we feel, but we can't do that. So all we can do is helplessly chat on places like this and try to work out why they don't seem to care anymore. Scary. Take part tonight. Just go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. I've also set up afcbpodcast.com/moan as well. It all goes to the same place. But feel free to come along and chat about the 3-1 loss at the Mad Stad. If you've not been on here before, do feel free to subscribe and like the video. But enough of that. First person I'm going to be bringing in, well, there's going to be a few. We've got Tom Jordan here, podcast regular. Tom, how are you?
Great.
We've also got Mark Jackson here as well. Mark, how are you, buddy?
Similar.
Jeff Hayward's also here too. So, Tom, I'll fire this over to you first. What did you make of that performance?
Pathetic. It was pathetic. Yeah, it was awful, and like you say, it's not been great for a while now. But basics again, just can't do the basics right. You've got a team like Reading who just throwing themselves in front of everything, showing that will and desire. We've got all these technical quality players, but they're just not putting a shift in. I don't know, and everyone's got to take their fair share of the blame. I've obviously been getting some stick for being a bit positive lately. And I can agree, Jason's got to take his share of the blame. Of course he has. But I'm sorry, you put... what was annoying me was that everyone was telling me it was the system. It was the formation. Just play 4-3-3. Just play 4-3-3. We've done that tonight. It don't make a fucking difference if you've got players out there who ain't put a shift in. Like, he's part of his job. He is the gaffer. Part of his job is definitely to motivate the players, is to do more. He's got to take his share of the blame. But when are these players who, by the way, let Eddie Howe down, when are they going to take their share of responsibility? They cross the line and they just go through the motions and just think, we're good, we'll be fine. And you've got a team like Reading who are throwing their bodies in front of everything. They look together, they look like a team. And I've been saying it for ages that if the players ain't implementing whatever system you put out, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And they always start playing in the second half. Of course you can play in the second half when you're 3-0 down. There's nothing on you there, and it's easy to play 3-0 down. But when it matters, they're just not turning up. And it was really pathetic at times tonight. And it's horrible to see, because I love these group of players. And they're a group of players that, I mean, probably one of the best set of players we've ever had as a football club. And I used to get stick for supporting people like Andrew Sherman and Charlie Daniels. They would have given more than that tonight.
Yeah.
And that's what frustrates me is, want whatever manager you want. That's absolutely fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Will JT be the man at the moment? Maybe not. But I'm going to back him to the end of the season. That's what I said when he got the job. I feel like he deserves a season. If you don't, that's fair enough. But the fact of the matter is, the players have got... I feel sorry for whoever's managing that group. You've got to give more. Once you cross that line, you've got to do more. I mean, Reading were a prime example tonight and deserve a lot of credit. But we keep playing like that, we ain't going to be near the playoffs.
Yeah, and Reading do deserve credit. And we've got a Reading fan here with the Reading review that I'm going to bring in very shortly. There are lots of people in the room. We will try to get through you as soon as possible. And Mark, is Tom right? The players couldn't raise themselves for Eddie, one of the best managers we've had in a generation. They're not doing it for JT. Should JT be the fall guy tonight?
I think, like Tom says, he's got to take a percentage of the blame, because he sends the players out there. He prepares them in the week. He should be able to motivate them. But like you say, Howe had the same issues with the same group of players. Well, majority of the same group of players. I mean, you see the story in the week about Goslin not wanting to leave. Would someone like him in the team in that middle provide more than what we saw tonight? Probably. Like you say, Daniels, people like that, they'd have given everything. You see Francis on the TV as well, and it must be hard for him to watch performances like that, because with him in the team, I couldn't see, with Elphick, Carter, people like that in the team, you wouldn't see a performance like that. Not more than once. If you saw it once, it definitely wouldn't happen the week after, and it's happened for 4 or 5 weeks in a row now, which is just not good enough.
Jeff, we're missing players who act like they care, aren't we?
Yeah, I think Tom said it all, really. It is very upsetting to watch that when you believe in the quality of what we've got. And what was disappointing, I'm going to pick out players individually because that's what I do. I thought Rico had a shocker, and yet when he's on the bench and he comes off the bench, he looks good. Lerner had a shocker. Billing had a shocker. Lewis Cook had a better second half, but his first half was awful. And Solanke's invisible in that way we're playing. So you can change the players, but what I think is that every time you change the players, when players come off the bench, Brooks tonight, that's Brooks' best half that I've seen for about 7 or 8 games.
Yeah.
And you'll put them on the bench, the others will turn up and you'll give them 90 minutes and they'll be shocking. You'll bring the other players on at half-time and they'll be performing, and you'll think, again, we'll be in exactly the same flipping dilemma. I don't know what it is about the players. Whoever's giving them the getting them motivated, getting them up for games. I mean, let's get that Reading coach. He knows how to motivate a team.
Yeah.
They were fully on it from minute one. They were fully on it. And we were not. They got a lucky break for the first goal. Begovic makes his first mistake of the season for the second. And the third goal, again, I think we're asleep at a corner. It's two of them are gifts, frankly, and that's what's really annoying. And then in the second half, when we do decide to turn up, I thought Wilshere was class. I thought Brooks was class. But you cannot guarantee that start Brooks and he'll play like that. Start Wilshere will probably run out of gas. So, we're back to square one. We're back to square one at every flipping game of these last 6 games.
Yeah, we completely are. And, credit to Reading. They were really good tonight, and they were so much better than us. And, fair play to them in their playoff or promotion push. At the moment, I'm struggling to think that we'll be able to do that. But I've got to say, the difference between how they mark at the back and how we do, we were so flat-footed. But when we had a corner, all of their defenders were on their toes and they were ready. But we were, Chris Mepham, the ball was fired at him really hard for that first goal. Yeah. It got caught in between his legs. And then, their striker pounced. But they just, Jeff, seemed to have that extra, bit of quick thinking.
Yeah, bit of quick thinking. I'm just seeing the third goal highlights again, and it's Billing losing the ball, just not on his game in the midfield, and Rico switching off at the back. And that's a gift goal as well. It's poor defending, poor midfield play, poor defending. And also in that first half, we don't look like we're going to score. We don't look like we're going to create anything. And I feel that he tried to freshen it up tonight. I think we need to seriously look at the next fixture. Maybe start with Surridge and King, and maybe Wilshere from the start. Give Lerma a rest, give Billing a rest. I mean, geez, I was saying the other day, Billing's a fantastic player. We need him back in the team. And then you see a performance like that and you think, what was I thinking?
Those Reading defenders as well, they're no better than our defenders. It's will, it's determination, it's want to win.
Determination, it's want. It's being front-footed, it's wanting the ball, it's dying for your teammates.
I was jealous of Reading tonight because I felt like they looked like we did when we got promoted. Do you know what I mean? Just a real siege mentality, team spirit, fight, determination. There's a lot can be said for that. We all know the quality we've got. But I tell you what, we need a bit of that. And we haven't got enough from doing it. And I thought tonight, actually, he might not be the technically best player, but Sam Surridge must be sat there thinking, our last good performance was Barnsley when I led the line and got man of the match. Why am I not fucking playing when these lot are wandering about? Do you know what I mean? I thought someone like Sam Surridge and I think Mark mentioned someone like a Goslin to come in potentially. We need some players to just show a bit of gut. But yeah, it was like I say, massive credit to Reading. But in all areas tonight, we were shocking. And like I said, Jason's got to take a share of responsibility. Everyone has. My point was that I keep saying lately that I think that I by the way, I prefer a 4-3-3 as much as everyone else. But what I was trying to say is if they keep playing like this, I don't think the system really matters. Everyone was kind of putting it down to the system all the time. And I was thinking, yeah, I can see why you'd want a different system. But if they keep playing like that, it won't matter. Trust me. And that's what happened tonight. It didn't matter what system you play if they're going to show up and play like that. But real headache for Jason what he does now, because there's so many of them players that you don't want to play in the next game. And it's madness considering, the week we've had in terms of, obviously Pearson's come in and it's been quite positive and we're thinking, God, the amount of players we've got, we should be taking this league on. But once you cross that line, if you don't want it as much as the other team, that goes a long way.
So what do we do for the next match then, Mark? What needs to change? Is it the players need to kick up the backside? Does JT need to do anything different, or is it just a combination of a number of things?
I don't know, because it seems like we need to go behind before we start playing, and obviously you start at 0-0. So I'd almost say that's a negative for us if you start at 0-0, because we need to be 2-3 down to play. I mean, you mentioned it earlier that we've not been good since Stoke. I'd argue we've not been good all season consistently, because even when the results were coming in, the first half of games we were absent for most of them. It was second half that was saving us and we were scraping results. But like the Reading first game, how bad were we in that first half, but then how good were we in the second half? And you just think, why does that have to happen? You think back to Barnsley, great performance, Coventry away, great performance, but they were teams that sort of came out against us. And it was mentioned on the last pod, I think, that if teams come at us and play the way we want them to play, then we're good. But it seems that if teams figure us out now and they sit there, you heard their captain who was in the studio that they wanted to stop us from the back rather than waiting for us to get forward, and it works because we're just so inept when teams sit back against us. We're devoid of ideas completely. And to answer your question, no, I don't know what I'd do in the next round. There's been nothing really that you watch it and go, do you know what, that could work next time. I just can't think of anything really.
Just before we switch things up and bring some more people in, Jeff, obviously we're all feeling pretty raw. Do you think we're feeling more pressure? Because I think most of us supporters know it's this season or bust, really, isn't it, for us?
Yeah, I think that's truthful. We're in a bad run, and it is difficult to see how we're going to get out of it. Arguably, Birmingham ought to be a winnable game. Sheffield Wednesday ought to be a winnable game. But so that's we said when we're going into the Millwall and Luton games that we should get 6 points from those two, and we got one. And that is the issue. Teams will look at that performance and look at the performances we've put in over the last few games and think, defend deep against us, break on us, and we're vulnerable. And we're shot to pieces in terms of confidence and self-belief. It's a real concern because I can't see us sticking around in the playoff places at this rate. I really can't.
Absolutely scary. Tom, closing comments, mate?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to be anything but really, really pissed off tonight, understandably. And, you know, we're very fortunate that in the Championship, it just seems like anyone could beat anyone, and that might keep us floating around there. But like Jeff said, at the end of the day, if we keep playing like that, we ain't gonna be there. So we need to find something, and fast. I hope that Jason and some of the senior players are really, really, so to speak, throwing punches in that dressing room. Do you know what I mean? Really having a go at players and really calling people out and saying that it's just simply not good enough. I see someone put there that Stacey said it was embarrassing, but they've got to show it on the pitch as well in the next game. And let's just, it can't be much worse than the last few, I suppose. But yeah, we've got to pull something out of the bag. It's got to be better. But my worry is, like I said at the start, is that I'm starting to think these players, this is what we were saying after the first lockdown when we got relegated, and that was under a different manager. These players in games, I think I remember the Palace game, the Newcastle game, in games where literally you didn't need anything to get motivated. Everything was there on the line, and they just went through the motions. And I'm thinking these same players are doing it now to a different manager. That's my concern. That's my concern.
It's West Ham. It's West Ham away last season. It's that sort of fixture. Palace away against 10 men.
Yeah.
It's that sort of performance again, and it's in the mentality of the players. You know, it needs a wholesale get rid of a load of them and bring a load of new players in, and that's a whole season of rebuilding ahead, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Jeff, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Tej, thank you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
And also Mark Jackson, appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Tom. Sam.
Yeah, no worries, Tom, as well. And you know what? We got some more people coming in ever so shortly. And I just hope that the players actually look like they give a shit. And I don't want to see them on Instagram in the next few days, posting pictures sat on a bench in their £500 hoodie and their expensive trainers. I want to see them actually look like they give a toss. It's got to happen on the football pitch because I'm fed up. Anyway, Kirk's here. All right.
Yeah, brilliant, wasn't it?
Brilliant. Keith's here as well. We're going to bring in Keith. How are you, Keith?
Top stuff, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
And also a bit of a Cherries Red Army reunion as well, because fair play to Reading. They did a number on us today. You must be delighted, mate. 3-1 win. Cracking first half performance as well. You made us look absolutely dog shit.
I mean, Lucas Zhao sent Steve Cook to the retirement home, didn't he? I mean, what else can I say about it? If you continue playing like that, you're bottom in the playoffs. One of the worst performances I've seen from an away side of the Madejski this season, and that's being nice about it as well.
Yeah, absolutely shocking performance, Kirk, wasn't it? I mean, I have no words to describe a lot of it. Obviously, we showed a little bit of fight in the second half, which was a bit better. But I mean, even at 2-0, I said on a WhatsApp group, I said game over, because Reading were never going to make that same mistake again like they did at Vitality Stadium. They knew that 2-0 is a dodgy scoreline. There was no way they were ever going to concede, like they did at the Vitality. And we were just awful.
Yeah, I think I said to Ben this morning, I said the team who's bravest tonight will win the game. Or we'll cancel each other out. And it was going down that road of cancelling each other out for 20 minutes. Then Reading up their tempo. I've criticised us a lot in regards to an attacking point of view in the last month or so. Haven't won since December the 15th, scored 5 goals in 7 games now. Crap on the ball, crap. 162 times we gave the ball away in possession. 50 times we kicked the ball 60 yards to no one. But let's not worry about attacking, because defensively we were double crap. Do we want to win a header? No. Do we want to win a 50-50? No. Do we want to react to a rebound when someone shoots? No. We'll just watch Reading strikers react to the rebounds, and we'll just stand there and watch them. we've talked all season, Sam, about doing the basics from a point of view on the ball. Yeah. What we were doing tonight from a basic point of view defensively was an absolute shambles. And what's even more worrying is the three players that have been our sort of, well, at least we've got Begovic in goal, at least we've got Steve Cook at the back, at least we've got Lewis Cook. Well, all three of them were shocking tonight. Lewis Cook trying to play a back pass to Begovic nearly cost us the first goal. Steve Cook, Lucas João sat between Steve Cook and Rico. One of you want to pick him up? Oh, no, we'll just leave him free. He picks up the ball between both of them. Rico's the wrong side. Lucas João sends Steve Cook somewhere. By the time he's got himself back up, João's put it in the back of the net. It just was crap.
That's against the most informed striker in the league as well, by the way.
We just left. If you watch that third goal, he has Steve Cook one side of him and Rico the other side with about 10 yards in between them. We just let him collect the ball on the edge of the box. Shocking.
It is absolutely shocking. And Keith, I'll bring you in now. And it seems to be, from my point of view, there is just a shirking of responsibility all round. When you're playing in a side that's got so many stars in it, I honestly think that the players have almost got this kind of mental tendency to just think, well, we've got certain flair players, so they're probably going to do their thing, but they don't concentrate on their own game. They give the ball to Danjuma. You don't see the runs, once they make the pass. They're just standing and watching. He's trying to do it on his own. He had a poor game himself anyway, and there's no responsibility all over the pitch. Now, usually we can rely on certain individuals, but today, all over, bad.
Tom and Jeff and Kirky have got it all right. This is a rot that has been with us for 2.5 seasons now. 2.5 seasons. There's something in this squad that seems to trade on its alleged performances, and to be honest, they've done Eddie in. I'm wondering if Max is going to pull the trigger very shortly because he's got pressure. Yeah, but then you look at but this is the terrifying thing. You look at the names of managers who are free. Okay, you got Eddie. Frank Lampard, well, I think he's a shoo-in for a Premier League job. But then you're looking at Pearson, Hughes, McLeish, Oscar Garcia, Paul Cook, Marco Silva, Billy Davis and Nigel Atkins. Are these the sort of managers? Some of them are quite authoritarian and might do something, but is this the sort of this is what you could argue Benitez, but I don't think he would come in. But this is how it is. There is a rot in the squad, and we saw it last season, and we've seen it again this season. There is something gone horribly wrong here, and you can't blame Jonesy. You can't play free at the black. These are players that are not taking responsibility, and they will just sail on through, and they'll go and get another club, and they'll sail on through with that. That's the way I'm looking at it.
You know what? I'm worried for my devices tomorrow, my phone, my laptop, when I see the tweets from AFC Bournemouth that say a disappointing evening. Fucking hell, those comments on Facebook and Twitter, I dread to read them. But I think, people at the start were sort of making criticisms of the way we performed, yet the league position was making them look a bit silly because we were putting in quite poor performances, but somehow getting away with it. And people could say, we're second in the league. And to be fair, maybe I was one of them. But now you're just
I was.
You've not had any decent performances for ages. Now, Reading started really well. They had a little dip, but now they seem to be pushing on again. I just can't see it from our perspective. Ben, before we let you go, mate, what are your ambitions now for this season? Is it autos or playoffs or what?
Well, after tonight, it's a statement. I think you're kind of slandering your own performances. There should be some sort of credit for Reading.
We played, absolutely. You showed us how to play tonight, fella. You showed us how to play tonight.
We outworked you all over the park. Renamotta and Laurent completely it made almost your midfield look silly tonight. And we've just shown to the rest of the league that the formula to beat Bournemouth, I'd say the probably the best squad in the league in terms of technical ability. And now we can kick on. And Paunovic has this whole squad. He has this whole fan base really believing it in this project he's got going on. He came in, a lot of doubters, a lot of haters come in, and still he's probably going to get a load of people doubting him. We've seen loads of critics in the journalists saying, "Oh, he's not going to keep this up. He's not going to keep this up." He's keeping it up. He's keeping up with the rest of the pack. And I mean, playoffs has to be a minimum for us now. And if Bournemouth can get found out, you lot got found out pretty easily. And there's some poor defending, especially for them first 2 goals. I mean, if I'm saying it's poor defending, it probably is, because I'm used to some shockers over the years with Reading. So definite improvements for you lot to be made, because otherwise I can see you slipping out of that top 6 so easily, because everyone who in the top 10 right now who has a chance to play us, if they play you, they're going to fully believe that they have a chance in their foot. They're going to outrun you. They're going to outwork you. And unless something drastically changes within the squad mentality, it's not looking too rosy for you. Because I said at the start of the season, you'd be one to go back up. But for some reason, you're just not working like you should in the Championship. And it's a tough league. It's a physically demanding league. And if you don't work hard enough, you're going to get found out sooner or later.
Absolutely.
Look, Reading are a good side. And we knew that before we played them today, and they're a side that we needed to take seriously. We needed to take Derby County seriously. We lost 1-0. We needed to take Luton at home seriously. We lost 1-0. We needed to take Millwall at home seriously. We drew 1-1. I can go back through some of these results: 0-0 at Luton, 0-0 at Swansea, where we could have put the game to bed. We can go back even further, talking about your early performances against Derby and QPR. Let's face it, lads, Bournemouth fans, we're not good enough. So there needs to be a change. And you know what? I had all these, designs and ideas of promotion in my head. Now I can't see it. I can't see it. And, sad to see it be like that, especially when, as Ben said, we've got probably one of the most technically talented squads in the league, but that's the reality of the situation we're in. The players are not performing for the shirt. Drastically, things need to be done where it needs to be done and where it needs to be carried out by the manager, by the board. Who knows? It's yet to be seen. Ben, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Well done, fella. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Good luck. I genuinely do hope you improve going on from tonight. I mean, let's hope Reading can keep up there with you lot this season. Eh?
Yeah, cheers, mate. Really appreciate it. That's Ben from the Reading Review, and he appeared on Kirk's channel. Do check out Cherries Red Army on YouTube. Just type it in. Kirk is doing lots of good content on there, and Ben came on with him to chat about all things AFCB. Right, okay. So Daniel, Martyn, Phil standing by, Ben as well, and James. I'll be bringing you in very shortly, but Juron is here with us as well, and then we'll take you out shortly, Keith and Kirk. But
yeah,
Dan, the man. God, talk to me.
First of all, can you hear me all right? Because this is a different microphone.
All good.
Yes,
good.
mate.
Right.
All good.
Yeah, shit. And first of all, I do want to give massive credit. I know you said to Reading. Reading was so good, and that's exactly how I want us to play. I was speaking the game. I was just like, I don't understand the way when Reading were attacking, just the way we just looked like we're going to concede and running back and look clumsy when we were defending. You go to Reading, they're so compact, but yet was such a threat on the break as well. They weren't defending the whole game. They were so good, and I think that it's so clear that these players are just not motivated at all. But is it a combination of the January transfer window? We've had this massive slump through the January transfer window. Is it agents in players' ears going, "Oh yeah, no, you can get a move out here"? It is. This is why I don't sure if it's been mentioned a lot. I'm so interested, and I think it's so important what happens after this January transfer window. We've had all these bad results consistently. Obviously, we've had some previously, but consistent run of terrible performances in this January transfer window. We know we've got players that have been with us a long time, players that have just joined, players that probably want to be playing in the Premier League, players at different stages of their career. Is the squad all muddled up with different players and in different parts of their careers? And it's the question that you have to ask is let's say February, we've got however many games. If we come to March and we are, slipping out of that top 6, do we pull the trigger on JT or do we or not? Because it's it sounds incredibly harsh because I think that it's so important to give managers a chance. And for example, Frank Lampard, I don't think they should have sacked Frank Lampard. I think they should have given him more time. But I think the difference with Chelsea to Bournemouth is Chelsea, they can have a bad season. They go again. They're still one of the best teams in England. They've still got some of the best players. They've still got some of the they've got such a pull factor to their club. And then but with Bournemouth, this is such an important season for us. Like, we don't get promoted this season and we could be down here for a very, very long time. So is it worth risking it, pulling, giving it a go, sacking JT and bringing in someone new like Frank Lampard? Or I don't see Eddie Howe coming back as much as it would perhaps be, because it ultimately comes down to the players, which is why it's so difficult, because you think, you can't change a whole squad. And I think that the players are largely to blame. But the only way that maybe we might have a chance, because I do feel bad for JT, but he's the one that sends the players out, and we are making these stupid mistakes. The basics aren't right, but is the way, the tactics making more mistakes happen? Are they, are we not utilising our players the way they should? Is he not stern enough with the players? I don't know, but yeah, it's such a tough one to call. I'd be interested to see what you think about JT.
I'll come in on that one.
Yeah, go on, and then I'll pass over to Kirk, and then we'll do a switcheroo.
And I'm sure Kirk has got some great views as well. Lampard isn't coming here. He's wanted a place with a Premiership side, so
I don't know about that. I think Frank Lampard sees it. A job in the Championship wouldn't be a terrible decision for him. Is he going to get another job in the Premier League? I don't see that happening.
So Sam, how long ago was it? Was it 5 months ago? We all sat until about midnight talking about Jason Tindall.
Long show, yeah.
I tell you what, this is probably the right time for me to come in now, isn't it? I'll be absolutely pissed off if the club sack JT. They made the decision to go for him, right? A man that's had pretty much zero managerial experience, gave him the top job with the best squad in the Championship. If they sack him, that would be an easy way out for them. They need to face up to this. He needs to be given the season. And if it doesn't work out and we don't even make the playoffs, the people at the top need to answer the questions, because he wasn't the man for me. You know that. I thought we should have been going for someone else. Maybe those names were too big for us on reflection. But now we gave him the job. I've always said from that minute, from that night, I said he's got my full backing. And if they sack him, for me, that's a cop-out. At the end of the day, for whatever reason, what also is going to piss me off, excuse my language tonight, Sam, and sorry if people are watching, is on Monday, AFC Bournemouth TV are going to put some replays out of them in training and throwing their bodies on the line and sprinting. But come to Tuesday night against Sheffield Wednesday, I think your dad's walking football team will probably do more running than they will. And that just winds me up. It feels like the club at the moment are trying to create some positivity and trying to get some points for us. They're bringing out stuff about new signings. They're putting stuff about the training. Look at Steve Cook running down, trying to block balls from going in small goals, But when we go on the pitch, the players, and then they'll come out and go, we're disappointed. We're embarrassed. It's not good enough. JT needs to be given the season. They gave him the job. Now they've got to sit it out.
Fair play. And yeah, you're probably right. My dad's walking football team probably do more running, and they're not even playing at the moment as well. Keith, one final thing before we change it up, mate.
Maybe Kirky's got a point. I back Jason. I don't particularly want to see him sacked. I'd rather give him time, and I'd rather we didn't put pressure on ourselves to want to go up this season, because it's a long old slog. But it's not me who runs the club. And no matter what we say, there's a man called Mr. Denham, and he will be the one that's going to pull the trigger, and he will be the one that's going to get the next guy in. Now, I can't anticipate what he's thinking, but I understand what Kirk is saying about the optics and trying to do that, but that's good. That's PR. It doesn't reflect the performances on the pitch. But I say that there is a lot of people who are wanting JT out. I'm not certain that is the right decision, but there is a rot in this squad, and they've done a manager in once, and they will do a manager in again. And it's been coming for 2.5 seasons now, And as I say, that Stoke game seemed to be the flashpoint, and it's got worse and worse. They are not talking to each other, these players. There seems to be cliques and feuds or what have you. It's looking, could potentially look like a real horror show. And as I say, I don't know who. If Jason stays in, well, he's got bigger minerals than me, because, as I say, the managers that are free, some of them are authoritarian, but you would be hard pressed to find anyone who can get a tune out of this lot at the moment, because they are literally our mercenaries at the moment. That's my view.
I'm going to go now because I know you've got loads of people that want to come in, but I just want to reiterate a point, because people are not understanding from what I'm seeing in the comments. I'm not saying that JT shouldn't be sacked. What I'm saying is the club was in a good position to get a decent manager in, and they decided to go for this option, and whatever reason that was, because it was easy and he knew the club and he's been there for the last 8 years or whatever. They made that decision. They need to stick by it. He didn't have a CV to be the top man. Okay, but they gave him it on good faith or whatever, and that's why it shouldn't be a cop-out. So I'm not saying he shouldn't be sacked, because anyone else in this position probably would be.
Kirk, brilliant. Thanks very much for coming on.
No worries, Kirky. I'm looking forward to your show, mate, and obviously, hopefully you can go and get that vodka. I had it last time.
Yeah. That's Kirk, and do check out his channel, Cherries Red Army, on YouTube. Also follow that same account name on Twitter as well for some more AFCB reaction. Keith, thanks very much.
Yeah, Tuesday it is then. Can't wait.
Can't wait. See you then, mate. Cheers. Thank you very much. And Dan as well. Thanks so much for coming on, mate.
Cheers, Sam. Appreciate it.
I am loving this tonight. No, I'm not. No, I'm really not. Okay, Martyn's here with us, and Al Gard as well. Al, start with you. How are you? We can't quite hear you, Al, for some reason. What I'll do is, it could be a microphone thing, so I'll give you a second to sort it out, and then I'll bring in Martyn and Daniel for the meantime. Martyn, I'm so sorry. You've been patiently waiting. Also, Phil's here as well. But Martyn, I'll come to you first. Go for it.
I don't know what I saw in that first half. I think it was a really devil's comments. I mean, when you start this whole thing of the whole second half, you can't keep playing on it. The first half, yet again, it's story of 2 halves. It's completely wiped us out for the past, 6-7 games, where we're just not good enough. And this whole thing, I think you can't look at now where we've got this paper on squad. It doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, you could have this whole £1 million, whatever it is, buying these players, get these championship teams with probably £2-3 million worth of squad is turning us over. Absolutely turning us over, and it's embarrassing to watch. I mean,
you know what? It is completely embarrassing. It is completely. I mean, where's it going wrong? Is it the mentality of the players? Is JT not motivating them enough? I just can't work it out. I mean, because we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, it's very difficult to say, well, it's JT's fault. But when you see the players technically doing things that aren't good enough, then it's a tricky one.
JT's got to take some of the blame. I'm aware of that, but I think you can't just solely lie on his door now. I mean, the formations, you can't blame that anymore. I know the whole 5 at the back, 3 at the back, or whatever it is now. The players are motivated, and whatever it is, I think if I was Jason, I'd start putting the hammer down. And I'm going to say something now. I think the best game I saw so far was when the cup game where we lost against City, where we played the youngsters, and I thought we were brilliant that night. And where have they gone? Where's Zamora? Where's Kilkenny? Where are all these youngsters who, if anything, look like they give a shit? Because they know they're on the cups of the first team, but where have they gone? Where have these players gone? And if I was Jason, I know, he's got to take the blame on some of it. I'd throw the gauntlet down and go, as far as I'm concerned, you're not playing for it, so I'm going to give these youngsters. He's on about he's finding all these gems. Got these youngsters coming through. That 16-year-old who came on for his debut against Arsenal, 16 years old. Where are they? As far as I'm concerned, I'd give them a chance because they seem to give a crap.
Mate, very good opinion, Martyn. Thanks for coming on, mate. You know what? Short and sweet, but I like it. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it was only a short time, but there is a bit of an audio issue with your connection. So, but anyway, it feels like we're throwing money at the problem. We'll try Al again. Fingers crossed this works. Can you hear us, Al? We can't hear you, unfortunately, for some reason. So, all right, mate, no worries. You know,
He had a themed event as well.
just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, mate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we all thought. Yeah, that's probably right. Cheers, Al. Thanks very much. You know, why say it with words when you can say it in gestures? Daniel, we'll come to you before we go to Phil, because I know, Phil, that you're going to be fuming after that. Daniel, how are you?
Good. How are all of you guys?
Yeah, well, we're doing okay. In the background, I'm going to bring in James Rood, who's been standing by as well. And I saw you taking a slurp of alcohol there, mate. I am joining you. I have to. But Daniel, though, have you seen many worse performances than that this season?
I feel like we saw it in the Derby game, but I feel like Reading just scored way more goals. So I'm very worried, because if we don't go back to the Premier League, it will be the fans that will like hurt more, because the players won't care, because a Premier League team will sign them and then they'll be benched and will never play a game.
Yeah.
So it's like
you're absolutely right. You know, you're absolutely right. You know, this will be the season. If we don't go up, we will lose all these stars that we, think are brilliant. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Because, you know, for Bournemouth, they don't seem to be playing very well. I mean, I wasn't upset when David Brooks wasn't started today, but then he comes on and he looks like one of the better players on the team. Honestly, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. We just don't know what team's going to turn up. And today, it was a poor side, Daniel.
Yeah, it's just like no one wants to think about losing to Reading 3-0, so it's kind of stressful to think about, and how we're almost in the end of the season, losing to a team we should beat, but maybe not by a lot, but like we should beat by a little, and it's just like making me so kind of upset, because the fans are the ones who suffer at the end, so it's like really annoying, because the players, they don't really seem to care. They will just post on Twitter, "Oh, sorry guys, we didn't do good, but we'll do better next time," but they don't.
No, I know, mate. It's just, it's frustrating. Daniel, thank you so much. We've got so many guests still in the room. The room is full. Daniel, appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. And we're trying to get through as many people as we can. So in the background, next we are going to bring in Jon Spark, who is standing by. But Phil.
Good evening, Sam.
How are you?
I'm delightful, as always. Sort of thing on that.
Talk to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I love Kirk, but this you can't shout JT because it's a mission of the board's fault. It's more of a fault not to admit your own faults. If you've made a mistake, you do something about it. Hanging on to the end of the season, going, "Oh, no, nothing to do with us. It was due to JT." Is that's a risky game to go down. But players come on at half time. They come on because Liam was sitting in the studio as I was watching on Sky, saying the game plan's going to be to send it out to Dan Juma, and we're going to stop it. He said that. What was our game plan? Send it out to Dan Juma, and they were going to stop it. There was nothing else. That was it. Once we took Dan Juma off at half time and the game plan went to pot, we started playing. How many games this season have once the game plan, which, I don't want to be rude about JT, but I don't think he's going to outthink many other managers in the league. There's not a lot there tactically. There's people around going, "Oh, yes, JT, that's great. Yeah." What do they discuss? What do him and Perchie discuss on touchline? They sit there nodding at each other and going, "Oh yeah, I fancy pepperoni on it. Or shall I have the extra, the extra tomatoes tonight?" Or whatever. I don't know what they're doing on there.
Yeah.
There's lots of. How many headers have we won in midfield this season? How many second balls have we contested? How many little oomph headers from a left back or right back into midfield have gone straight up in the air, and somebody a bit more physical comes in and goes, "I'll have that, thank you." And how many times a day did we take the ball in midfield and the first thing again was, "I will shield it off to my back and I'm facing the wrong way now." How many times didn't we get it forward? How many times? I came on at the middle end of last season and said there's a lack of leadership in that team, and that was down to Eddie Howe because he dominated the structure of the whole club. And I think Steve Cook's he's the leader in that team if you put him in another team, he wouldn't be the leader. I think too many times his second touch is a tackle, a saving tackle because he's out of position or something's gone wrong in midfield. There was no one tracking back today. That third goal today the first 2 goals were bad. The third one, I'll just trot back a bit, said Lerma and Billing. It was an embarrassment, that third goal. They could have stayed in the game then. You're still in the game at 2-0, 3-0. You are out. I mean, us playing better in the second half was because Reading sat. You're 3-0 up. What team isn't going to sit back and go, thank you very much for 3 up? You can play as much as you like over there. Just don't come near our goal. It was, and it's the same. We've had so many games where individual brilliance has won us a game, but there's been no game plan this season. When teams put a low block on, there's nothing in that team mentally. There's it's a bit of bollocking at half time from JT a couple of times. In Reading, we caught them early in the season. Teams now know us. They just sit back and go, thank you very much, that'll do. That's it. There's Slaven Bilic out there. I don't like the style of football. He's a serial promoter. He'll do something to that team. He's not good enough for the Premier League. He'll get you out of this division. There's lots of managers to get you out of this division.
It's one of those kind of
do it.
Yeah, I honestly do feel as though we're entering that kind of stickle twist phase now, where it's it has to be one or the other, and they're almost, I don't know, maybe it's a bit dramatic to want to have a sort of statement of intent of what the board kind of want to do, but I don't see it changing for a while.
I don't think JT would cost much. He's just been a souped-up continuation of his existing contract, so he's not going to cost them a long-term deal to get shot if they wanted to. Obviously, somebody coming in is going to want their team, and that I think that's the bigger issue for the club is their team. How do we get rid of the Coopers and the Perches and all the ones that Eddie's put in place that we feel loyal to, or the certain members of the hierarchy at the club might. I'm not sure Max might do, but I think Max is probably persuaded to take JT. And then it's ended up now. Does he know enough about who's available and what it would cost to make that change? If he wanted to, I don't know whether he wants to. So I don't see it going anywhere different under JT, to be honest. I don't see how he can, go from the lovely, the cheery chappy who was number 2 to a stern, fairly authoritarian Eddie. He can't change himself, and there's no one else at that club to play the opposite role to him. I can say that. Who's there is going to play the hard taskmaster?
Yeah. Fair play, Phil. Thanks so much.
I'm going to enjoy the rest of my beer. It's very, very kind of you.
Cheers, and hope you have a good weekend anyway. I'll try to anyway. Cheers, Phil. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. That's Phil there. James, come to you next. In the meantime, in the background, there are so many people still waiting. So if you're trying to get in the room and you can't, it's full. It's supposed to be an hour-long show tonight. It might be until midnight at this rate. It's feasible that I will be. We'll bring Ben in the background here as well. But James, I remember last season sitting next to you and we capitulated 3-0 at home to Watford. And then, you chatted to you throughout Project Restart and we were just awful. It doesn't feel any different, does it?
Sorry, to start with, Sam, was that 2-0 or 3-0?
Yeah. 2-0 or 3-0, yeah. I think it was 3-0 that time, but yeah, awful tonight, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was appalling. But in all honesty, we've all sat here scratching our heads trying to work out what's going wrong. And I'm at the point now going, like, we were talking about it last year, we're talking about it this year. We keep talking about the quality of our squad. But is it just that we're looking at the value that we've paid for these players and the odd occasion where some of these players have been world class? The likes of Brooks, don't get me wrong, the second half this afternoon, he was amazing. He was definitely our best performer today, in my opinion anyway. But for half of the season so far, he's been so hit and miss. And what makes a good player, in my opinion, is someone that day in, day out turns up and gives everything. Yeah. They're consistent in their performances. Now, we're not getting that with 90% of our squad. You've got the likes of Asmir, who, albeit, he had a bit of an issue on a couple of occasions today, but all season he has been a top class performer. like Lewis Cook again today. Like, he's a quality player. There's no debate in it. But he was dire today, in my opinion. Like, we didn't know which way the ball was going. The balls weren't landing where they should be landing. And again, that I've seen that a few times this season. So I've got to the point now where I'm wondering, are these actually as good a players as we think they are? And we're thinking we're coming down to this championship with this squad of players who are so much better than these other teams. But then you look at Reading today, and every one of those players on that pitch gave 110%. Every ball that came in, they went for it. Now, I don't care if someone can pass an extra five yards to a pinpoint. If you can't pass in the right direction, what does it matter? If you're going to give that extra 10%, you're going to win that ball in the first place anyway, aren't you? So that's my view on it.
James, you put it so succinctly. So succinctly. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to zip around the people, and hopefully, me and you can have a proper beer at some point and chew the fat rather than doing it over this StreamYard kind of stuff. It's horrible.
Definitely, mate. Sort of soon.
All right, mate.
Have a good one. Thanks all.
Yeah. Take care, buddy. See you later, mate. John, you all right? No.
Well, I'm probably feeling a little bit more level now than most of the people that I've heard so far here. Unfortunately, it's been exactly what I think we all expected tonight's free for all would be, which is fair enough. I mean, there's really a lot that you could pick out of that, but there's not much that anyone really wants to pick out of it, because to be honest, it really was it's effort above all else. I think really is the kind of thing that we can all agree on, is that the only player I can think that can come out of that with any effort in terms of the effort, with any credit in terms of the effort he put in, was Jack Stacey for me. He bombed up and down the wing like it was nobody's business all match. He wasn't necessarily the best on the ball at all times, but then no one really was, particularly in that first half. But so I just want to try and think of a way to move forward. I'm kind of going to be shouting into a void here, because no one from the Bournemouth actual management is ever going to look at this. So what do they care? But I just think back to when we were at our best last time we were in the Championship. It was partnerships that I felt really, really shined for us. Left back, left mid, you had Charlie Daniels and Mark Pugh on one side. You had Frano and Richie on the other side. You had Kermigan and Wilson, or Kermigan and Graben up front. You had partnerships at the back. You had partnerships in the middle. That doesn't exist for us anymore. We don't have the consistency, and we don't necessarily have the formation that's really going to make those partnerships a thing quite as much. When we did amazing in our second, third year, fourth year, whenever we were really shining forward, I felt as if it was King, Wilson, Brooks, Fraser. Those four had a working relationship. They knew exactly where they were going to be. They were always aware of where to play the ball, who was going to move forward, and they were never injured. Now we're at a position where we don't have any of that. We don't have the partnerships up front. We don't have the partnerships down the wing. We don't really have any real massive cohesion. So at that point, we're left with individuals. And those individuals can't do enough on their own. It's apparent from today in particular, but from so many games in the last 2.5 years, there's not enough cohesion between the players as far as I'm concerned. As there was a particular moment towards the second half, Josh King ended up with a ball on the left wing, and Jack Wilshere was just inside. All they needed was a simple ball in between two players to pass to Jack Wilshere's feet. And he, at that moment, is probably doing what Jack Wilshere is great at doing. He was over one shoulder, over the next. He was taking a picture of what was around him. Yeah. And just where Josh King just needed to put the ball to his feet, he put it 1 yard in front of him. And we were lost. We lost the ball, and suddenly we're on the back foot again. It's just like they don't necessarily know. Jack Wilshere's a bit of a case because he's only just joined the team, but he has been training there for 3 weeks. So it seems like no one's necessarily giving the ball where we need them. Dominic Solanke, I think, is getting a lot of comments, shall I say, over this game. But we didn't help him at all. Like, you're not playing to his strengths. Every ball, he's coming deep to try and receive it. It's being bounced off of him because it's being fired at him. The defender's doing his job and following him back because he knows no one is threatening behind. One of the centre-backs can always follow Dominic Solanke because no one's going to make the run beyond him. It's some of the most basic attacking functions of the game. And no one's like, you just need, if Danjuma could make that run in behind when Dominic Solanke comes short, or King, or Brooks. Brooks and King played wide. No one was supporting him. Billing wasn't coming close. Wilshere wasn't necessarily there. Cook wasn't on his game. What do we want Dominic Solanke to do when you fire it to him and no one's within 20 yards of him?
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, there seems to be a number of things that just basic bits of build-up play don't necessarily seem to be ingrained within the team. And that's 2.5 years old, I feel, at this point. Really. Because Eddie didn't fix that last year. That was the case for yonks last year. And it was working for the first sort of third of a season this year because I felt teams were afraid of us. And not only that, we had Dan Juma, who was making those runs in behind. We had Dan Juma, who was always a threat, so they were focused on him. But Brooks is a threat, so they need to focus on him. And they know that they need to worry about so many parts. Now they're not so worried about us. Now they can do just what Reading did. So it's just wait, you'll play it in front of us. So it's fine. We'll just set up with 2 blocks of 4 and you won't get past us. No movement. It's just I'm rambling on here, but I'm just trying to pick out like tactically, and just the motions just don't seem to be what they should be in terms of the players aren't doing it. The players don't seem to be active enough in trying to want to do it. And JT ain't making them do it either, because he had a whole half where he saw nothing was working. And at half time, as opposed to the Reading game, which just required one small change at left back and everything seemed to work together and we got 4 goals, in this game, everything was left the same except for the players. But Wilshere's not going to make those runs in behind. Lerma isn't going to do much different either. King isn't going to do much different to what Danjuma was doing. The formation and everything around the formation stayed the same, but the players changed and nothing happened.
Yeah.
I could probably keep going. I really could.
Yeah,
but it's just like so much that just isn't the fundamentals, I feel, just isn't there. And whereas 2 weeks ago, I felt a calming voice, and this week I'm like, no, there's just like, this isn't the time where things need to stay the same. Something has to change. Graham Jones never seemed like the problem to me. And after that performance, he clearly was more of a solution than a problem.
Go on, Ben.
I'll be quiet for a bit now.
John.
Ben, we lost your audio temporarily, but it sounds like you're back.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, all good, nice and clear.
Right, sweet, sorry. Massively agree with you. What you're talking about was how we were really, really poor up front. And what I was thinking about was how we were really, really poor at the back. But it was the same mentality. It's the same. We didn't get any second ball ever. Tonight, we never got a second ball. And that isn't about the quality. That isn't about the formation. That isn't about the people. That's about just not pulling your thumb out your ass and doing the job, basically. And how you were describing, there's no one to run beyond. Yeah, that's that same lack of effort and lack of intensity that I expect to see and want to see from the team that I support and pay to watch. I'm absolutely raging. I'm avoiding the swear words and the rudeness at the moment and the explosions, but I am. Tom got it perfectly right earlier on. We were abysmal today. Reading were good. I'm not going to belittle them in any way, shape, or form. They did it. They did it well. But we had 2 goals conceded from not contesting the second ball, and they got their 3rd goal from actually just running straight through our defence. And we did nothing about it at any point in time. And I've been a happy clapper for a very long time. I throw my happy clapping gloves in the box today and say, no, if we actually want to go up, we need to start. And we need to start before right now. Because if we don't go up, we are going to lose a lot of these players. And I said myself earlier on today, oh, wow, look at the depth we've got with Danjuma and King and Brooks and Stan and, Roro and the whole forward line, the whole 7 players we've got up front that can all score goals, but aren't. Yeah. And maybe our players are feeling just as arrogant as that. And maybe that's why we're not actually doing the job. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm really gutted if it is.
Yeah. No, completely agree. John, we're going to switch it around. And, obviously you said what you had to say. However, I'll give you a closing statement. I do want to hear more of what you got to say, but apparently you're doing a player ratings with Tom at some point, are you?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be recording it with.
Subscribe for that. I'm really.
I will. I'll have plenty to say, but I will try and hopefully after 24 hours have less than 24 hours. I'll have other things to say that I want to try and find improvements with, rather than just focusing entirely on the negatives like I'm trying to do tonight. But the final thoughts is difficult to say, just particularly more than what I've already said. I'd like to just Ben was right in terms of what I said at the beginning in terms of like effort was the main thing that we missed above all other things tonight. And defensively, to be honest, I don't really want to focus too much on the first 2 goals, because the first one was a scramble, the second one was the first mistake that Begovic has made all season, and the third one that I will have something to say about tomorrow. But look, effort's the main thing. Defensively, 3 goals doesn't sound great, but there's other things to pick out. It's attacking that we are massively missing out on at the moment. I think, as Kirk said, what was it, 5 goals in 7 games? We haven't scored more than 1 since we put 5 past Huddersfield. That tells you a lot. And over 2.5 months, or 2 months, however long it's been, it's felt like 3 years. That really needs changing fast. And whether JT can do that, only he knows, and only the other management know. And the players, I'm sure if they're not happy with JT, it'll come out.
Brilliant.
Anyway.
John, looking forward to seeing your remarks tomorrow. I'll get the popcorn out. Nice one. Cheers, John. Thanks so much for coming on. That's Jon Spark there. Ben, closing thoughts before I come to Morgan. After that, Simon Kaye's been patiently waiting, as has Jeremy. And also, we'll get through Filippo, TWR, who's waiting, John and Reese as well. And also Giorge as well, who's been here, the best football moments on YouTube. Ben, closing statement after that?
Not going to talk about the match. Just going to say thank you so much for putting this on quite regularly, and I can't wait to see Peppo and all the other guys, and maybe they can make me feel a bit better than I feel right now, because right now I'm very, very disappointed.
Ben, you know what? Yeah, you said it perfectly, and it is always a relief to see Filippo's face. So when he comes on, I'll be delighted. Ben,
in all departments.
In all departments. Nice one. Cheers, mate. Take care, buddy. Have a good one. That's Ben there. Follow him on Twitter @Cockbeard. Morgan Scott's with us. Morgan, I'll ask your opinion shortly, but as I said, Simon Kaye's here as well. He's not smiling. He's got a Jeremy's here though as well, and is he? That's a bit of a grimace there. He obviously watched today's game. No, he didn't. Well, you didn't even have to. Morgan, though. Firstly, I'll come to you, Morgan, patiently standing by. You had such a good week, didn't you? Had a brilliant week. You had your phone call from Steve Cook. You watched the Crawley game. You did the show with Tom that you were like really looking forward to do when we had the positive news about Ben Pearson. And then this tonight. Awful.
The week's been interesting, to say the least. Positive start with, as you mentioned, with the call from Cookie, done some cool stuff with you on StreamYard this week, and then you talk about tonight. The first thing I want to say, I've got a pair of football socks here. Bournemouth don't even have to give me their own pair. I'm just about to head down to Vitality and go and teach them how to play football, because there's no fight, there's no determination. And if you don't have fight and you don't have determination, you don't win a match. And if you don't score a goal, you don't win the raffle, as they say. And then you don't get promoted. So it's just doing the simple thing. And it's so frustrating to sit here week after week, talk about the player, talk about tactics. You might as well just not bother. What they've been doing in training all week, I've been hearing all sorts of things. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind going down there myself and teaching them how to put 5-yard passes together, teaching them how to switch the play, telling them how to be together as a unit. Because if you don't do that, you don't win football matches. And we sit here, and I've been sat here patiently listening to everyone and it's just the anger and the hurt in our fans tonight the players should be embarrassed because they're getting paid. You know, you talk about getting a new car or whatever. They don't care how we feel tonight, but it's just so bad. And to be honest with you, it's devastating. And they need to kick up the backside. And Sam, if they don't do anything soon, playoffs might even be a bit of a niche situation.
Simon, sorry, Morgan. I was listening to everything you were saying, but Simon, you're like a local celeb. You come on and everyone's messaging you left, right, and centre. And I'm just trying to break it up because Morgan made some very, very good points there. And I sense your frustration, Morgan, because it was absolutely awful. And look, we've been on air an hour and 5 minutes, and you know we needed to break it up with a little bit of kind of lightheartedness. But Simon, it's very difficult to, isn't it, when you watch performances like that? It was poor.
Well, I was going to start with where's the fucking tactical plan, but now I'm just going to say thanks for the bloody waves. However, getting down to a few things, right? The shape and tactically, it's all over the place. It doesn't feel like they know what they're doing. It doesn't feel like the instructions are right going onto the pitch. It feels like it's watching some, no disrespect, some teenagers, like 12 or 13-year-olds playing sometimes, where they all want to bomb forward and they never get back quick enough. There are no patterns. One of the bits that was raised a moment ago about partnerships. Partnerships are often only built in 4-4-2 formations or things like it because of the way the system works. So you've got those overlaps. The number of formations we've played this season and the number of personnel that have been interchanged within them, no wonder there's going to be a bloody mess from time to time. However, that aside, if you don't work the bloody gaps, excuse my French, on the pitch, and someone's not covering your arse if you go forward, it's all going to fall apart. And that's why it's crap. I will also say one player that came back today, if you're going to play a 4-3-3, you need to make sure that one of the three at the front of the bloody pitch is willing to run his ass back and help the midfield and get involved. Now, Stanislas does do that. He has got an engine and he might have his faults to some people, but he does work hard. And there are only certain players that I look in our squad who will work their tits off for the team. Whether or not you put Goz back in the centre of that midfield instead of whoever, whether Jeff's going to get a big suspension, I don't know. Has Pearson been signed because of that? Loads of questions. There's no doubt every transfer window we also start playing crap because there are always rumours flying around. There's 2 days of that left. I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting a bit better once that window's closed. But it was shocking. You just got to work bloody harder. On the pitch, off the pitch, everywhere. I'm done.
You said it perfectly. And, you know, once again, Jeremy, it sounds like you've had the luxury of not being able to see the game today, but you're probably seeing a lot of the reaction. And you find at the start of the season, it was very measured. But now it's a bit out of control. But I would still say the remarks are justified and valid because when you see the value of our squad and the technical ability that we've got, to see them underperforming like they are. I mean, you know, Reading's a team that's got no stars as such. They just work really bloody hard and they've become stars because they are so good at what they do. We've got a team of stars that whose value, whose stock is, I mean, it is going down every game we play because they're just not doing the basics right. What are you seeing online and what's your immediate reaction after seeing that result?
Well, my first thought is I'm getting a complex because I got Morgan and Simon getting waive requests, and I'm just sitting here minding my business. So that's my first thought. Oh, there we go, Luke. Thank you. So I guess there's an old saying about doing well. The saying is he did more with less, right? But I think unfortunately what we're seeing is a manager that is doing less with more. Based on what you've said, Sam. And in the States here, we have an old saying about you never want to be the guy to follow the legend coach. You want to be the guy who follows the guy. So I don't want to pile on, but it seems to me, I mentioned this a week or so ago, I really believe he's lost the room. And I think they just don't listen. They're not listening. They're not paying attention to what he's saying. And so that's reflected on the pitch with it. It seems like a lack of confidence. And what everyone has said, we're not getting up the pitch. We're not playing aggressive. And again, I don't think they don't care. I think there's no confidence. And I think they've basically given up. And so they need to hear a new voice, because remember, JT has been in that room, was in the room as long as Eddie was in the room, right?
Yeah.
And if this happened and has started 2.5 years ago, guess what? The same voice is in the room. Now, he may not have been the most vocal at the time 2 years ago or a year ago, but he is now. But it's still the same voice that they're familiar with. And I said it last week, and I'm beating a dead horse. This is a large group of players that went through a relegation last year, and all they know, a lot of them who are still fairly new to the club, all they know is the relegation. All they know is this feeling. They don't know how to win. They just don't.
There's a phrase, familiarity breeds contempt. And I just wonder whether that's an issue now, because when I heard Eddie speak, when Eddie was manager, he said he was constantly having to reinvent himself and reinvent his style managerially and even tactically to keep the players engaged and to keep the players on side. And it's almost, JT's been in and around many of the players for quite a long time. And when you're in the room with someone, you get used to them. And, maybe you just start to, I wouldn't say perhaps he's not lost them, but you do start to sort of lose respect for someone.
Sure.
I just wonder whether that's what's happening, as you say.
Again, the proof is in the pudding, right? And what we're seeing is a group that seems to be going through the motions, and you see a team in Reading that is playing with confidence, and they're having fun. And we're out there just kind of going through the motions and seem miserable, and then you have evidence of everyone being miserable here. However, something has to change. And listen, I love Kirk. I love reading his stuff, watching his stuff, listening to his opinion, because he's more knowledgeable. Exponentially more knowledgeable than me when it comes to football tactics and everything. But I completely disagree with the thought that, we got to stick with them because that's the decision they made in the summer. That's insane. That's like a company saying we're going to keep the CEO even though the stock has dropped, 300% over the last 6 months, but we're going to hold on to him because we made the decision. It's a wrong decision. If you have to cut bait, you cut bait. And I just can't imagine holding on to a guy just because that's the decision that was made. I think desperate times call for desperate measures. And there's a lot of self-reflection that needs to happen right now in the club.
Morgan.
Just before I go off, if that's all right, I just want to make one final point, and I'm going to try and put a positive spin on a horrendous performance. I think horrendous sums that up pretty nicely this evening after my full time when I said that against Coventry anyway. I think that I just need to say something. Let's take it back a few years. We have done so well to get from where we want to be, from League 2 up where we could have potentially gone into liquidation and lost everything. We've been in the Premier League for 5 years. This was always going to be a tricky task to get back to the top flight at the first time of asking. Now, there's a message I'm about to say, and it's together, anything is possible. Now, that message needs reinstating ASAP, because without togetherness, nothing will be possible. And it has to get, the club have always said that, and it has to go back in ASAP, because if it doesn't, we're never going to get back to where we want to be. And from what everyone said this evening, I think it's been fantastic that everyone's got an opinion, but that we all want the same thing, and that's AFC Bournemouth playing back in the Premier League at the first time of asking. And it's been a very, very good week for myself personally, but after tonight, I'm hoping they're going to respond. Otherwise, I'm taking these football socks and I'm going to Dean Court tomorrow morning for a bit of training with them to teach them how to play football.
Morgan, brilliant. Well said. Thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it, Morgan. Simon, have you got any closing points based on what you heard from either Morgan or Jeremy?
Well, everybody tonight's made relevant points. I think what Morgan just said there, I think we can, pile in behind that to a degree. However, this is almost like I remember after the last great performance we had against Huddersfield, and I can't remember whether I was on here or not, or whether it was on one of the other things that I've been on, where we looked at Huddersfield and what attitude they had to the game. And their attitude was more like, we're going to lose. And their attitude's kind of, let's stay in the league. And they're in a rebuilding phase. And a rebuilding phase to get back to the Premier League, I believe, is about 5 years. So if we don't get back up there in one go, we will hope that we stick around in this league for 3, 4, or 5 years and that we get some luck, some half decent players, some kids get a go, etc. However, saying that, I'm going to finish on a bit of a positive as well. We're 5 points behind second place. There was a period in this season when we were doing bloody well. We looked good. Yes, okay, people said we were lucky in a number of games. We were, but we looked a lot better than we did now. I think we can get back to that. They just need to work bloody hard on the training pitch, get a shape, get some kind of understanding together and work those blooming gaps, cover each other's backsides, and let's give it a shot. I don't want Jason gone tomorrow, but he hasn't got long.
Is it difficult though, to be JT and try to give the players a dressing down when after training they just hop in their 100 grand Lamborghini and go back home and play Call of Duty all afternoon? Is it difficult for you to do that?
It must be, and I think that's one of the things. We've got a great squad, but they do. Football's a business, and players who get to the pinnacle of that career earn well, and they always think they deserve well. But you don't. You've got to work very hard. And that's where the Championship is incredibly unforgiving. That's where you get groups of young kids coming together and making it happen because they really want to get to where they've not been before. Those that come down and try and continue to do it, if things don't go their way or things don't go to plan, that's when you really find out who's hungry or not. And that's where the reference of dead wood, or that's where the reference of difficulties or people wanting to leave or transfer windows and everything that happens. It's tough. I wouldn't want his job, but he's probably got a couple of games to sort something out, get them working for each other. And if they don't, then I'm afraid we may have to take the risk. And if you move on, there's no guarantee that's going to be any better. I always said at the start of the season, I'd be happy with a solid Championship team with the odd tilt of promotion. In my lifetime being a Bournemouth fan, that would be immense progress. But I am an advocate for this is the one shot we have.
Yeah. Completely agree. Simon, you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. Thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Take care. Be well.
Simon Kaye, and he is a big part of Talking Cherry. So make sure you follow them on Twitter because they're doing amazing things. I need to get on one of their regular Zoom chats that they do, actually. Follow them on Twitter at Cherries Talking. So, yeah, do get involved with that. And Jeremy, before you go, anything to say?
Well, I will say from a positive perspective as well. I know I sound like the Grim Reaper here when I come on, it seems. But yes, we're in 6th place right now. But again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Yeah. And this is not a blip here. This is not a 1 or 2 game slide. This is this is becoming a habit, right? This has been a couple of months in. And again, I'm not calling for anyone's head, but I think everything should be on the table here. This is a business in the end, right? In the end, this is a business decision. And I know Keith's worried to death that it'll be Billick or someone else that may be brought into the club. But if you compare resumes or CVs, which is the term now, I guess, those guys have a history of success. They have failure, but they do have history of success in getting teams promoted. I'm not calling for any of them to be the coach. However, we have to be willing to look at everything because the last thing we can do is look back in April and say, boy, we should have made a change when we were in 6th place. We had a chance. And then we're staring at the middle of the table, or worst case, we're at the bottom of the table. Because we're dropping pretty fast right now. So anyway, I'm hopeful. I love the club. I love the team. I enjoy watching when I can. But I'll hang in there, whether we're here in League 1 or 2 or in the Premier League. I'll be here. So,
Jeremy, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. And believe it or not, there are more people waiting. If you're thinking of coming on, don't now because we've got enough, and I would be here all night. But what you can do to help us out is to give this video a thumbs up as well on YouTube. Just hit that little thumbs up icon, the like button, and that really helps us. And if you're not a subscriber, then please do subscribe. Okay, so I wonder if Filippo has got a message for us. We're going to see what he's got to say. Filippo from Italy is here.
Yeah, Sam. First, is the audio okay? because it was robotic last time.
Yeah, mate, the audio is all good. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to bring in Ivan here as well. To Craig and Steve Hensman standing by. We're going to bring them in together at the end as well. And also we've got TWR here as well. What I'm going to do, I can just hear the background audio, Ivan. So whilst Filippo's speaking, I'll just mute you, and then we'll come to you when you're ready. TWR, sorry mate, what's your name?
Jamie.
Jamie, hello mate. I see you commenting on YouTube and stuff. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry for keeping you so late on this, but it's been very busy. I'll let you go first though, actually, before I come to Filippo. I'm stood here very frustrated and very annoyed tonight, and you don't look amazingly happy either.
I feel the same way. I don't think that Reading actually did that well. I think it was just Bournemouth's performance. We didn't play as well as we could play, like a few months ago.
You know what? Someone else said that on the chat as well. I'd have to be clicking back a long way to find it, but someone said, yeah, you know, Reading didn't actually do that much, yet still you beat us fairly convincingly. But I mean, you know, to a man, everyone just seemed mentally, you know, not on it tonight, did they, Jamie?
No, it's just poor passing. We need, in training, passing more, short passes and good balls, like along the top.
Can you take any positives out of today?
That's a struggle.
Yeah.
1 yard passes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the problem we've got here. And you've got all these kind of megastars. I mean, you know, you start to think like you always rely on certain people to have a good game, and you think he'll have a good game. People like, you know, Jefferson Lerma, well, he'll be all right. But even players like him were completely off the pace. Asmir Begovic didn't have a great. I mean, he should have probably done better with that free kick. He should have, you know, probably held on to it, but for some reason he just palmed it away. Steve Cook, usually fairly reliable, he was pretty terrible either. Where do we need to improve, mate, aside from the passing?
Everywhere, really. From that performance, we need a proper talking to 5-hour meeting with that.
Yeah.
Talk to the lads.
Yeah, no. And who'd you be changing up for the next game, Jamie?
Well, obviously, we've got the new signing, Pearson. Bring him in. Surge should start. And Wilshere, I think he should get a start.
Yeah. Mate. Yeah, look, I mean, it sounds like you're speechless, as we all are. And we're really struggling to try to work this out tonight. But appreciate you holding on for so long, mate, for, you know, relatively little time compared to other people. But it's just been a crazy show. We're trying to keep it to 90 minutes tonight. Jamie, please come on again. Really value your opinion, mate, and we'll get you on sooner. So next time you come on, if I see your name, I'll bring you straight on. Okay, mate?
Okay.
Nice one. Cheers, Jamie. Thank you so much for coming on. And also the best football moments. Giorge is here as well. Audio only. Hello, mate. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. All right, Sam.
Yeah, mate. Good. Where do you begin with that? Where?
Chris Meffin was appalling.
Yeah.
I reckon get rid of Billing, sell him, get Richie instead, because he could actually fight for us. Maybe play Gosling, because he always gives 110%. And then Ben Pearson should hopefully boost the morale of the rest of the squad.
Yeah, it sounds like you're kind of looking at players that have maybe had their day, but you know that they'll always give heart and give 100% on the pitch, and that's what we're not seeing. You know, we know that players like, you know, Jefferson Lerma, Lewis Cook, or whatever, you know, like, we know they're better than Dan Gosling. We know that people like Dan Juma, Junior Stanislas, David Brooks, or whatever, we know that they're better than, you know, Matt Ritchie is now. But we don't know that they will give as much as what Matt Ritchie will.
Yeah. I would like Matt Ritchie just to then there's competition for Brooks. So when he's not had a very good game, then he can easily fill that role. And if he's injured or something, because there's no one really there. Like, what's Raquelme going to do? He's not very strong.
No.
He loses the ball easily. He doesn't seem to have the skill behind him, like Brooks.
Yeah.
He would be a good player for the future, but not currently. He wouldn't be fitting in the starting 11.
No, completely right, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. We are trying to wrap up the show soon, so I appreciate you've been hanging on a long time for relatively short. Appreciate that, George. Thanks very much for coming, mate.
No problem. Thanks,
Cheers,
Sam.
buddy. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll go back to Ivan, who's sounds like you're having a bit of a party in the car, mate. What's going down?
No, I'm actually having juice right now. So it's like,
okay, mate.
Yeah.
Please tell me you're not driving at the same time as doing this.
No, my girlfriend is.
Good stuff. You're live on YouTube. Hi.
say hi. You're live on YouTube.
The Cherries. So, Ivan, I mean, what did you make of that, buddy?
Oh man, that was I think that was the angriest again in a long time. Oh my god. Yeah. My girlfriend was just like, "You want lunch?" And she was like, "I don't want to interrupt anything," because we were yelling at the TV. God, man, I don't know. I'm usually super positive about everything, but today was bad. Today was bad. Today was an important game, and I mean, I woke up, and I think most Bournemouth fans woke up today. I think it's an important game, and the players did not seem to show the same. And I think it's the same thing. We're going to repeat the same thing everyone says. I just don't think that there's no soul there. I mean, the only time I saw the soul was Cookie. That tackle was the second half, and it's there was a run. Rico was running towards it, and he lost a man, and Cookie runs from the mid to take the tackle out. It's I think it was Swift or something. And I think that was the only part I saw that. I was insane. And I think Daniel, all these other people, you yourself, Sam, you said that too. It's all these people are looking for a way out. And it's sad because it is make or break. It is make or break for our season. If you do see a championship, we lose a lot of these players. And I do commend them, trying to be professional and trying to better themselves professionally. But it is sad to see they don't do it by showing themselves to be the best for our team.
Yeah.
So it took me an hour to cool down. I was really angry. I've been really angry the last 2 hours. I was really angry. I cooled down so I came today. Right now.
Yeah.
Today it's the angriest I've ever been.
Mate, I feel your pain, Ivan. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. We're gonna wrap it up in the next 10 minutes because we've got the gruesome twosome of Craig and Steve still to come, so we're gonna bring them on at the same time. But before we bring them on, we got Jon and Reese to come in. Ivan, thanks so much. Appreciate it, mate. Jon's here and is Reese. But firstly, Filippo, who has been standing by. Reese, hello, mate. Are you all right? Filippo, in Italy, how are you?
Yeah, again, I'm gutted, Sam. So I'm sure that after an hour and a half, you want to wrap up the whole thing. So let's do a one-word match report.
Yeah. Well, enough. Yeah. I mean, when you say enough, what needs to, you're obviously saying that something needs to change. What is that something that does need to change?
I'm saying enough with this performance. So we all listened about how the game went. So just wanted to say my personal thoughts on this game. I expected a difficult game like this because of the league positions. But also because we played on Tuesday and we played on Friday. I expected this game to be postponed to at least tomorrow, but that's how the fixture goes this season. So that's only how it goes. But I really didn't expect to have this poor performance I mean, we didn't battle. We didn't battle at all. And even Asmit Begovic, who is probably the best player of the season for us, had a bad day. So absolutely poor, absolutely poor. So enough with these performances, please.
Agreed. Jon, how are you?
Well, I've been thinking how this loss feels tonight, and like the last couple of losses we've had in the league, so Luton, Derby, they felt like, like when you're a kid and it's like, is it Christmas yet? Is it Christmas? And it's like, no, your parents like, oh no, it's coming. Aww. And then you get to Christmas Eve. Yesterday was like Christmas Eve, and you're told you're going to get a PlayStation 5, yeah?
Yeah.
You open up the PlayStation 5, and it's a ton of bricks and a Game Boy Color. It's just complete disappointment. Like, I don't know where to begin. People haven't really talked about Chris Mepham much. What a horror show. It was shades of Lloyd Kelly when the ball was. It was just like, where's the ball? Like, it's like, what was he doing? It seems to be like stuck in his legs. And I think somebody said earlier, we that kind of set the tone of the game, and I agree. I don't so much think our heads dropped, but just like the fluidity of the game, it was all gone after that point. And I was actually doing a watch along for the game. So yeah, shout out to Heather, Daniel, TWR Ghost, Jacob, they all, FNAF, I think they all come. Well, yeah, 2 of those, I think they come here. Obviously, the other 3 do.
How do people find your channel, mate? Is it AFCB Jon?
Yeah, it's my name. It's my name here.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've started up recently. I do watch-alongs and for other teams as well, but obviously Bournemouth. And tonight, if you go and watch it on my channel, you just see cursing a lot. And I don't usually swear. I really don't. But
you had to tonight.
I think we were all justified with that horror show tonight. It was abysmal from, I would say, start to finish, but we did have, again, I feel like I've seen it in a lot of games. We start off with this 10-minute flurry where we're not excellent, but it's like, oh, yes, this is exciting. Come on, I'm ready. It was good. I'm in the game here. And like Danjuma's shot on goal, I thought, I even said on the watch along, I was like, I told you he was fired up. I told you. And then, and I don't understand. I think Kirk alluded to it earlier. We see these posts, we see training videos, we see them on Twitter. You see like Danjuma saying, yeah, he's back. But it's not just one player though, is it? That's the thing. It's all of them. And yeah, I don't know whether it's a case of like, stop the rot, like Keith's saying, but there's something going dreadfully wrong in that team, and I don't know is it a case of teams have just found us out, or is there more to it?
Well, that's the question. And you know what? If you're one of the 100,
play better.
If you're one of the 150 that's watching now and you're still watching, I mean, I don't know how you're still doing it because, this is probably a negative show to watch. We've had a lot of people tuning in tonight, and
that's what it is.
There was 300 or so earlier just watching, and you kind of think it's just like a kind of wall of negativity. But I mean, rightfully so.
Come on,
100%.
I mean, I felt as well like that Christmas thing. Like, yeah, I'm all excited. Like, we won the cup games. Why I didn't see those performances tonight? Yes, they're Oldham. Yes, it was Crawley, but you've still got to beat the team in front of you.
Yeah,
and those 2 teams respectfully got through to the 4th round. So. Well, no, sorry, Oldham didn't, but both teams still did well for themselves, and they can be proud of how they did in the FA Cup. And I thought we could take that performance today, but we were just dog-s the whole time, basically.
Yeah,
closest I'll get to cursing on here. So
you know what? It's your statement that you said about the whole computer game analogy console thing happened to me when I was about 11, 12 years old.
Got a ton of bricks on the Game Boy, did you?
No, like me and my brother, we knew that our parents had bought us a console of some kind, and we woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day, and like we opened our present like in advance, and we thought it was going to be like a Sega Mega Drive, which was at the time it was the latest one, but it was a Sega Master System one. We were like, oh no, and it was like Alex Kidd and Miracle World on it, and we were like, oh my god, this is bullshit. So then we rewrapped it back up, and then like in the morning we had to look all happy when we saw this old console that we opened up, and he was like, oh yeah, amazing, thanks mum, thanks dad. Right, let's go and play Alex Kidd. Can't wait for that. Yeah, bad.
Like tonight, I
Oh
was
my
like, I felt we could do so much better, and then it's like, I've really got to watch this now for the next like hour and a half, 2 hours. And I actually missed the third goal. My Now TV, it stopped buffering, and I had people in the comments saying, "Oh, we had a Burnley fan, but his second team is Reading because he lives close by to Reading." And he kept putting these annoying comments, and he was like, "Go, go, go! Yeah, Reading gonna win now." And I was like, I'm already angry. The stream stopped working, so I missed that third goal. And then I saw it on the highlights when like Simon Francis and they were talking about it, and it was just painful seeing the first two goals again, let alone seeing that third one go in. So look, I think to take a positive, not so much taking a positive from tonight, but looking ahead, let's go into February with like a new month at least.
Yeah.
We've got 7 games, haven't we? I've looked ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
Wednesday, Tuesday, whole thing again. So we have to start well on Wednesday, February, and I'm not a genius. I don't know what needs to be done, but I think it's a case of, I mean, people have said about it as well. It's like, what's that saying? If when talent doesn't work, how does it go? It's hard work works or something. I can't even think what it is right now, but it's like, why don't we give those better players a chance that maybe we don't deem to be the Lermers, deem to be the Lewis Cooks? Let's get on Goslin again. Like, he is a terrier. He'll work for us.
Yeah.
And let's give Anthony a go. Let Riquelme, Surridge, these are all players that I really like to see playing as well, and they're exciting and they've got that passion. So
no,
I just feel.
I start with Surridge too.
Yeah,
I feel so like passionate about the team now, and I want to see us do well, like we all do, and I don't want to stay too down. I still want to keep my team, and obviously it's a bad game. It's a stinker, but we got to stay together, and we're all in this, and we can lean on one another and get some good results to come. So
that's it. John, thank you so much. Nice one. That's king of the catchphrase, John. When talent doesn't work, I'll tell you something like that. Anyway, Filippo, closing statement. Reese, Craig, Steve, and Jamie, and then we're done. Right, Filippo.
Speaking about Jason Tyndall, I'm sure that I saw that we have different opinions here. Mine is that honestly, I can see Eddie coming back, and neither Frank Lampard signing for us. I wrote it in the chat. I honestly would, before judging Jason Tyndall, I will wait till the end of the season. I will confirm him till the end of the season. But there is not much time. There's not much time. So we have to start getting results. We have 2 home games now against Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham City. Can we restart from this second half? Because I was okay with the effort shown in the second half. So can we restart from that?
Very good point. Filippo,
Who knows?
we can't let you go without saying.
Yeah, up the Cherries, more than ever.
Good man. Filippo there from Rome, Italy. Cheers, mate. Thank you so much. Sorry, Reese. Mate, how are you? Mate, I can't hear you. I can't hear you for some reason. No way. That's not good. Have a play around, mate, and then I'll bring you back as soon as you sort your audio out. Or just take your headphones out. I'll give you a couple of seconds because we have just got someone, AFCB Latvia, that's just joined us. Audio only. Hello, caller. How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm
3-1
good.
to Reading tonight against Bournemouth, and we were awful. What was your opinion?
First of all, the defending. What was defending today? It was really, really bad. For me, I think Jack Stacey, he was. We had such a good positioning. We had shots on target, but we didn't take our chances. Yeah, we were playing ball around. We played excellent, but we had to take our chances. We were playing around the midfield. Yeah, it was really, really unfortunate that we lost 3-1. Last game that we lost in championship, that was the derby game. That was so fortunate too, because we had I think I'm pretty sure and yeah, we have been playing really, really bad lately.
Yeah, we have. Thank you so much for coming on. What's your name?
Robert.
Robert, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Honestly, we love getting new people on the channel, so we really appreciate it. And I'm sorry it was a very short amount of time, but I'm
Yeah,
glad to
sorry.
get you on, and
Okay,
feel
yeah.
free to come on again soon.
Yeah.
Cheers, Robert. Up the Cherries. Thank you so much for coming on. And Reese, hopefully his audio will be back, and then we'll finish with Craig, Steve, and Jamie. Reese, hopefully all should be okay now. I'm praying that it is. You might just need to unmute your mic. Oh, it says the mic's not connected here. So I don't know. Oh, maybe we'll be all right. We can hear you now, mate.
Basically, same shit, different toilet. Yeah. Basically, this season. All right, right now, yeah. This is like last season. This is literally like last season. We're playing shit football. This is so. This watching us play football is so unattractive. I'm happy Talismander's back from injury. He scored a free kick. What? Bang, bang, bang. But the thing is, yeah. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I back JT. I back JT full on full. Like, I'm not saying he should be sacked or he should be sacked, but if you give someone the job, you might as well play it out through the season. Like Kirk said earlier, you can't just sack him because you're giving it a risk. You're giving some outsider who doesn't know the club, like the management. In my opinion, yeah. I don't give a fuck if the players watch this, yeah. But if you want to leave, leave. I don't give a fuck. Leave if you want to leave. Leave if you want to leave. Okay. If you want to fight for us, fucking fight for us. I don't want to see you just out on the pitch of your shit housery, not doing fuck all. Because that's what's the point in playing for the club if you're not even happy? Just leave. Just leave. I'll go out on the pitch. I'll play on the right wing. I'll David Brooks's role if I could, because this has been going on forever. 2 years in a row, you know. The last ever time I remember watching attractive football. Do you remember like 3 seasons ago, Mark Pugh, Charlie Daniels, and then Simon Francis and fucking I can't remember fully yet, but the best season I've watched us play football was when we were in the 2018-17 season, when everything was we played such attractive football. Then it started going and it started the 18-19 season where we started not coming back. I don't know why we can't come back from behind. We only did that like twice last season against Chelsea and against Leicester. I don't get why we can't come back from behind. I don't get why these players are not like fighting for the club. I would you know what, yeah, I would pay fucking £50 a day to go training with the squad. I don't care. I would do my part. I would happily fight for the club. I would do anything in my power, like Dan Jim said on Twitter, anything in it to try and help us get in promotion. What was I gonna say? Recently he's washing out the dishes. I'm gonna do that later.
What's that all about, mate? My God.
The positive I'm taking. I'm gonna clean dishes later. I'm just sitting on a piano chair in the kitchen with my laptops. The positive news I'm taking is Jason Tyndall said that Josh King is not leaving in January. He's staying to fight with us. That's a positive I'm willing to take in. But this shit needs to change. And do you know what sucks for me? I live in Reading. I am getting abused everywhere, but all the Reading fans saying Reading, Bournemouth shit this, Bournemouth shit that, and it's actually quite annoying because I remember us being in the Premier League and I used to boy Reading.
Yeah.
But
Well,
back to
mate.
you, Sam. What's your opinion on the last 5 games? Because in my opinion, it's been
it's
some
awful.
shit house. We're losing to shit fucking teams. We're losing to these teams who are crap. These clubs are so tin pot. The players are so tin pot. I'm gonna wake my mum, but I don't give a fuck. I'm actually so fucked off. Like, this actually winds me up. I actually, you don't understand how fucked off I am. We're losing to tin pot players and clubs. These Championship League One qualities. We've got fucking Premier League quality in our squad. We literally our team is like mid-table Prem. I don't get why we're losing to those fucking shit Championship clubs. We're losing to Luton. We're drawing to Millwall. We're drawing to fucking Millwall. We're letting them come and get a point off of us. We're making these teams seem like we're this. No. We've got the club. We've got decent fucking owners. We've got good players. We can't let these teams beat us. Do you know what? Do you know what's funny, Sam? Do you know what's funny? I went into the game. My friend said we're gonna win 2-0. I said to him we're gonna lose 3-1. We're out of confidence, and I guessed that correctly. Because I looked in the players' faces against Derby, and they were not at it. Like this shit actually fucks me off because you know what? Yeah, I am knackered from work. I am knackered. I work on weekends, yeah, and I'm not allowed to have my phone on me at all. And I'm hoping the score is good. I'm hoping we win or something. I looked at my phone again and we lost against Luton. I lost my fucking shit. Like that actually pisses me off. I can't see the score or anything. I'm sorry, man. That's how much.
Mate, honestly, a lot of people are appreciating what you're saying, but we're going to give Craig and Steve and Jamie. We're going to put them on. Thank you for coming on, mate. And what I want you to do now is take all of that energy and do that fucking washing up, mate. That kitchen is a state, right? Okay, cheers, mate. Thank you so much for coming on, Reese. Pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much, mate.
Take
really
care,
appreciate
mate.
it, buddy.
God bless you.
Right, Craig's here, mate, and we got Steve and we got Jamie. And these are going to be the last people on. So if you've got the link.
Is this Arsenal Fan TV?
Might as well be. Oh, my God. We'll come to Craig first because Craig's been waiting a while. Craig, how are you, mate? I bet you've been getting some shit from Carl, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I had a picture which said everything is something great or something. It was shockingly shit, wasn't it?
I thought you'd be happy, Craig.
No. Shut up, Steve.
He may come from there, but it doesn't mean he supports them. But yeah, I'll tell you what. Steve, it was a shocker. It was a shocker, and first half especially. You're looking at trying to think of worse halves, and I'm not sure I can think of any this season.
Sorry, did you say me? Yeah, no, it was pretty dreadful, wasn't it, first half? But I think we can all see that. We all know that was an absolute horror show from start to finish, albeit the second half was a little bit better when we brought the likes of Wilshere and Stan on. What concerns me is that I really feel fear for Jason. I really do. I wanted him to do well, like I think most people did, but it seems like he's rolled the dice so many times with what he's trying to do. He's trying to find a way. At the beginning of the season, he was swapping players every other week. He was changing formation every other week. Now he seems to be sticking so rigidly to one thing and not swapping out players that aren't, quite clearly aren't in form. I just think he's run out of ideas. I really do, and I fear for him because I think he should. People can turn things around. Managers can turn the tables, and I think he warrants a chance. But if that's Stenham's aim to get back in the Premier League this season, I fear for him. I really do. After that,
you're spot on, mate. You're absolutely spot on. I think he's shown tonight he's tactically naive in places. I like JT as a man. He's a nice guy, But is he the man to actually get this club back into the Premier League? That is the question that I'm asking now. And after that, and it's not just tonight. You know, if we had beaten Millwall or Luton or Derby, and got a decent return from those games, fair enough. We come up against a side which, are at the top end of the table. However, he's shown that I think that he hasn't got a clue how to turn this round. And Eddie showed it before when we started the Premier League season. I can't remember how many games did we go without a win. I think it was about 2-3 seasons ago, wasn't it? When I think it was about 6 or 7 games without a win. It felt like it went on forever.
We won the 5th one against Brighton at home.
Was that the one that Defoe?
Yes, that's the one.
Scored
That's the one. Sorry.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where managers really, earn their corn. And I just can't. I can't see where playing like that. Sheffield Wednesday are going to fucking wipe the floor with us. I'm sorry. It's just completely unacceptable. I can't think of a single player who started that game who played well. Brooks come on, did well. Wilshere come on, did well. But apart from that, Billing got his chance and let us down again. Oh, it was awful.
I mean, why get Jack Wilshere and not start the guy? I don't get that. I rushed home from work for this game. I was working late. I got back. I didn't see the team sheet or anything until literally the game started, and my heart just sank when I saw that team sheet.
It's a difficult one for Jason there, though, isn't it? With his injury record, like he's played.
I get that,
quite a bit against Crawley and on Tuesday. There's only 2 games, 2 days before. I'm not defending it. Like, you should be starting the games for us because of the quality he's got. But in terms of fitness levels and stuff, it's difficult for Jack to come without basically a pre-season at a professional football club. There's only 2.5-3 weeks training, and then he's played 70. I think it was 75 some minutes against Crawley on Tuesday, and then to go again.
We've said that why not put your star players out there and go at teams from the off and then manage the game when we're 2-0 up and take these players off and look after them then. It's just too many inept performances tonight. I don't know why everyone's. I get Mepham didn't have a great game. I get that, but it was his first game back and give him a big bit of slack for that. But there was other people.
You can't give a player
Lewis
when
Cook
he's
was
so
one.
shit.
I'm sorry,
Why
Lewis
can't you
Cook
give him a
was
bit?
terrible.
He's in just come back from injury. His first game back.
Yeah, but Chris Mepham is a shit defender. He would not know the meaning of the word defending if he slapped him square in the face. He's got no aggression. I watch him. No, Rico's shit as well.
Yeah.
Rico is shit. He should not be playing. But anyone, I don't care if Mepham's just come back from injury, right? I see him in the Premier League for us. He's had some good games for us, but the underlying current with him is the fact that he does not know how to be an old-fashioned defender and defend his box. You seen that Holmes guy for Reading do that double block? He would not do that. He doesn't have that mentality, and you can't coach that. That it comes from within. That is something I want to win the ball. I want to defend the goal. I'll be like a John Terry of fucking Chiellini. I want to defend the goal. He doesn't have that. He's a ball playing centre half. He's basically a failed midfielder who's trying to play centre half. He might as well be Jordan Henderson. I just do not like the guy. He's just come back from injury, but come on, the way he defended tonight. Lucas Shaw backing in. How many times are you going to fucking back in before you actually give him a fucking Clark? Do you mean?
But we had the solution on the bench. We had Carter Vickers on the bench. I just don't understand why he didn't start the game. Lewis Cook was absolute rubbish today. Absolute. Every time that Michael Leese put pressure on him, it was well, that's it. The
midfield three were just non-existent, Craig. They lost up midfield completely. They were completely outdone. They were completely outfought. They didn't go for any win any second balls. It was just a complete mismatch, and it shouldn't have been, because those three should be a match for any team, and they could mix it in the Premier League. So
this seasoned professionals playing against a 19-year-old, and to be fair, Elise, absolutely run them ragged tonight.
Top quality, isn't he? At least
Oh,
good player.
he. To be fair, how I can't see him keeping hold of him. No way. Is he English?
What did you think?
I tell you what, because if he's English,
Changing the subject a bit, what did you think of Solanke tonight? I know he wasn't given much service, but he did have a couple of chances, and that sort of proves the point where we've been saying a little bit, that if we had a number 9 on the end of them chances, he put them away. And
we've got another one of them as well.
I know I went on
we
about Madejski, right? But it's from one goalkeeper front, like, to the whole team. Like it started the first half. Like the only difference between the first half between today and Derby was the fact that Reading had more quality to actually finish chances. Like, how many times are we going to concede from a set piece? Like, just going through the last couple of games, like Millwall, Derby, today. Like today's goal, where like it ricocheted around the box and then dropped to them in 6-yard box. Did that not happen at Derby? Do you not get first contact on the ball and want to defend the box? How many corners did we have in the second half? I think it come up the stat. It was like 11-2 or something. One corner we looked like we was going to score from, where he did that double block. Like they were organised. They had a willingness to defend. They had a desire, which our players didn't have. And the guy who was trying to say earlier, I think it was John. Like, hard work beat talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's what we're at. And the thing is, and people are going to put this on Jason, and to be honest, he is really on a thin line. I give him 2 games maximum, and I think then if he doesn't get like 6 points out of Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham, I think his time's
You know what? I said the same.
People are going to put it on there. People are going to be on this like the last month, right? This club and this team, since we've been changing over the players that got us up in the first place over the last probably 2 years, at Premier League, we finished 9th, then we finished 12th, then we finished 14th, then we eventually got relegated. We're getting worse and worse and worse, and that come from changing the players. This team, and if you go and watch, and maybe I'm being a bit cynical, but if you go and watch Tyndall's interview back after the game, when they was asking him about Ben Pearson, he said he's a good signing because he's got a good character and he's got a winning mentality, which this group needs. And on Tuesday, I need to pick the right team. That's underlying to me, saying the players I picked tonight have got a weak mentality. They don't work hard, and they throw in the towel when things start going against them. That's exactly what happened last year, and that's pretty much exactly what's been going on since after when we had 20 points after 10 games in that. Well, 2 or 3 seasons ago, flying high, and we were like 3rd in the league, in the Premier League, and we had averaging 2 points a game. Since that point, we had a couple of injuries there, but since that point, everything is on a downhill spiral, because underlying, we are Southern softies, and we play to that narrative, and we have a weak mentality and players that think they're above their station and think they're better than they are.
Yeah, you know what? You've made some great points, and you know what? I'm going to wrap up there. There's lots more to talk about, but
come on, Sam. We've only got 3 minutes left.
Yeah, it's nearly.
You've nearly done it to midnight.
I'm not going into tomorrow as well. Jamie, thanks so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
All right,
cheers, buddy, mate. Craig, thank you, mate.
Can I give my man of the match before I go? I'll give it to Reese for that.
Reese.
No, for Reese for that bit of fucking passion.
Yeah. Mate, yeah. Brilliant. That's Craig. And you know what? Man of the match for Reese. Completely agree with that. Steve, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you coming on.
Cheers, my friend. See you later.
See you later. And that is that. Reading 3, Bournemouth 1. This video is not going over 2 hours, and I am going to bed. I tell you what, awful performance tonight, but we know we've got the talent there, and that's what gives you the hope, doesn't it? Maybe, just maybe, we'll turn it around in the next game. Maybe it will happen. Maybe not. If you want to give this video a like, we'd really appreciate it. Click the thumbs up, and we'll carry on doing more of this kind of shit. And also, if you want to support us with a coffee, not an actual coffee, but just a small monetary donation just to pay for our StreamYard subscription and the pod platform, that's the link there, afcbpodcast.com. cherries.co.uk/coffee. On Sunday night, we've had some outspoken views tonight. On Sunday night, which is nearly tomorrow, John Bailey. There's some outspoken views there too. Until then, up the cherries.
Back in the day!